6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is a news edited by Danishka Madawala and read by J. Yogaraj. First, the headlines. Muslims of Sri Lanka with the rest of the world celebrate the Ramadan festival today. Special security arrangements will be carried out at mosques in view of Ramadan festival. President grants pardon to 779 prisoners. Government urges public caution. The government urges public caution to reduce road accidents and firework incidents during the New Year season. Approval has been granted to recruit 2,500 English medium teachers. Medical degree at KDU for fee-paying students. News overseas, a search continues after deadly blast at power plant in Italy. In sports, Spanish tennis player Aaron Cortes banned to 2039 for corruption. And those are the headlines. Muslims of Sri Lanka with the rest of the world celebrate the Ramadan festival today as the Colombo Grand Mosque announced last evening that the new moon was sighted in several parts of the country. Issuing a message for the Ramadan festival, President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that Islamic adherents worldwide engage in fasting for a month, guided by the noble intention of fostering personal growth and benefiting others. The Holy Quran underscores the importance of adhering to such virtuous practices from eliminating the path towards righteousness and spiritual fulfillment. As the Sri Lankan Islamic community observes Ramadan this year, it coincides with a period of progress and encouragement within the nation. Even amidst past adversities, devout followers steadfastly adhered to their religious obligations, fasting devoutly and offering prayers for the well-being of both themselves and the society at large. The President, in his message, also said that in honoring the sacred values during the Ramadan season of self-sacrifice, self-restraint and tolerance, the President also extended his heartfelt wishes to the Muslim community of Sri Lanka and beyond. May this auspicious Ramadan usher in a period of profound peace, harmony and goodness for all. The Ministry of Public Security announced that the special security arrangements will be put in place at mosques across the country in view of the oncoming Ramadan festival. Accordingly, 5,580 policemen, 510 police special task force personnel and 1,260 tri-forces personnel will be deployed for security. According to the Ministry, the special security plan has been prepared following discussions with the Maulavis of all mosques belonging to each police division across the island. Thus, the necessary security will be assured for 2,453 mosques out of 3,203 mosques across the island where religious services are to be held. In celebration of the Sinhala and Tamil New Year, President Ranil Wickremesinghe has decided to grant presidential pardon to 779 prisoners. This presidential pardon will be granted in accordance with the Article 34(1) of the Constitution. This news comes to you from Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
People's Bank Excelsior. Live the life you want.
The government is urging the public to exercise caution and minimize road accidents and firework-related incidents during the upcoming Sinhala and Tamil New Year season. Reports indicate that a significant portion of the accidents during this festive period, approximately 36%, are attributed to the use of fireworks, along with 17% of eye injuries reported during this time due to the use of firecrackers and fireworks. In response to these concerns, the Ministry of Transport and Ministry of Health have collaborated on a special program aimed at raising awareness and reducing incidents of road accidents and firework-related injuries during the festive season. Meanwhile, a special press conference was convened yesterday at the Presidential Media Center by the Ministry of Transport and the National Council on Road Safety. The purpose of this media briefing was to inform the public about measures being taken to mitigate road accidents during the festive period. Cabinet spokesman and Mass Media Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena and Cabinet said Cabinet approval was granted to recruit 2,500 English medium teachers under the English for All program. Addressing the media briefing to inform the decisions taken at this week's Cabinet meeting, the Minister also said a total of 4,441 English teachers have been approved for schools to teach GCE ordinary level subjects in English. There is a requirement of 6,500 English teachers for this purpose. The Cabinet of Ministers has granted its consent to the proposal jointly submitted by President Ranil Wickremesinghe and Education Minister Sushil Premjayantha with the Education Ministry to increase the number of approved teachers teaching English medium subjects up to 6,500 in order to accomplish the teacher requirement by 1,000 in 2024 in relation to the 765 schools where subjects are taught in English medium at present. The Cabinet of Ministers has granted consent or approval to the proposal by President Ranil Wickremesinghe to provide admission for local students for the medical degree program at the General Sir John Kotalawala Defence University, Cabinet spokesman and Mass Media Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said. The Minister was speaking at the weekly Cabinet media briefing held yesterday at the Government Information Department. According to the government, the admission of local students for this medical program will be offered starting this year. The admission will be based on the students' Z score received at the GCE Advanced Level examination. And that's local news.
People's Bank Excelsior, a comprehensive banking services package with a branded checkbook as well as debit and credit card exclusively for you. People's Bank Excelsior, for professionals who dare to dream.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
State Minister Shanta Bandara announced that despite the 12th of April being a public holiday, all postal workers have agreed to work on that day to handle the significant volume of goods received by the Central Postal Exchange during the New Year's season. For the first time in its history, he noted that this decision was made to accommodate the surge in demand for postal services during this festive season. The State Minister highlighted that the shift in consumer behavior, noting that individuals who previously experienced long queues for fuel are now gathering to purchase apparels and other goods. And that came to you in top news.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by
CIB New Year offer. Valuable gifts and gift vouchers. 25% discount for bank cards till 10th of April. Visit CIB today. CIB revives once always.
The Met Department has issued a heat index advisory for the northern, north central, eastern, western, Sabaragamuwa, northwestern and southern provinces and the Matale and Monragala districts. According to the department, the heat index, which is the temperature felt on the human body, is expected to increase up to caution level in the above-mentioned areas. As per the advisory for the caution level, fatigue is possible with prolonged exposure and activity, while continuing activity could result in heat cramps. And that's Watch Light.
CIB New Year offer. Valuable gifts and gift vouchers. 25% discount for bank cards till 10th of April. Visit CIB today. CIB revives once always.
Moving on to world news headlines, a search continues after deadly blast at power plant in Italy. European court rules human rights violated by climate inaction. Court rules women's only exhibit in Mona must allow male visitors as well. So those are the headlines of the world news. 4 people have died and several are missing following an explosion at the hydroelectric power plant in northern Italy. The blast occurred underwater at the plant on Lake Suviana, 70 kilometers from the city of Bologna. The affected area is located 30 meters below the surface of the lake. The mayor of the nearby town of the Camignano told ANSA news agency that a fire was believed to have broken out during maintenance work. A group of older Swiss women have won the first ever climate case victory in the European Court of Human Rights. The women mostly in their 70s, said their age and gender made them particularly vulnerable to the effects of the heat waves linked to climate change. The court said Switzerland's efforts to meet its emission reduction targets had been woefully inadequate. An Australian museum has been ordered to allow men into a women's-only exhibit following a high-stakes court case over the matter. The ladies' lounge at the Tasmania's Museum of Old and New Art sought to highlight historic by banning male visitors. After being denied entry, one filed a gender discrimination lawsuit, which he won on Tuesday. And that's world news.
Moving on with sports news.
A Spanish tennis player has been banned from the sport until 2039 after admitting to 35 corruption charges. Aaron Cortes, 29, fixed the outcome of the matches for money, a bet on tennis, failed to report corrupt approaches, and gave money to tournament officials in exchange for a wild card, said the International Tennis Integrity Agency. And that's sports news. In business news, electric car giant Tesla has agreed to settle a lawsuit over a crash in 2018 which killed Apple engineer Walter Huang after his Model X operating on autopilot collided with a highway barrier. The case brought by Mr. Huang's family was scheduled to begin in California Superior Court this week. If the trial had gone ahead, it would have brought increased scrutiny of the firm's autopilot and full self-driving technology. And that's business news.
Go ekak thiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyamata set wenna as wahagena dekapu hina habe karanna youth ekata niyamata set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Business news, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money. Business news, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyamata set wenna as wahagena dekapu hina habe karanna youth ekata niyamata set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Moving on to economic news, banking giant HSBC is selling off its business in Argentina at a $1 billion loss after years of battling with the country's unstable exchange rate. HSBC Argentina, which has more than 100 branches and 3,100 employees, will be bought by Grupo Financio Galicia, a major private financial group. Annual inflation in Argentina hit 276.2% last month, the highest in the world. 5 years ago, $1 would buy 43 pesos. It is now worth more than 860 pesos. Weather report. The Met Department says rainy condition is expected to temporarily enhance over the island from tomorrow. Several spells of showers will occur in the eastern province and in Hambantota district. Showers or thundershowers may occur at a few places in western and Sabaragamu provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts after 2 p.m. today. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in western, central and Sabaragamu provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts during the morning hours. And that was the weather report. To wind up this news broadcast, let's look at the main points once again. Muslims of Sri Lanka with the rest of the world celebrate the Ramadan festival today. Special security arrangements will be carried out at mosques in view of the Ramadan festival. President grants pardon to 779 prisoners. Government urges the public caution to reduce road accidents and firework incidents during the New Year season. Approval has been granted to recruit 2,500 English medium teachers. Medical degree at KDU for fee-paying students. News overseas, a search continues after deadly blast at power plant in Italy. In sports, Spanish tennis player Aaron Cortes banned up to 2039 for corruption. And with that, we conclude this morning news podcast of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.